Welcome to this week's or today's episode of Live at 11:45 with me, Jenny Kovacs. There's a bit of some weird lighting going on, but I'll get there, I'll fix it. So have you ever had that, oh my gosh, what shall I share moment where you've just thought to yourself, you know, I'm fairly confident, I want to be even more visible, I want people to know about my business, I want them to know what I can do for them, and I want to have a really positive impact while doing it. So if this is you, and if you have ever found yourself with that internal question, like struggling with that internal question in your head, what shall I share? Hopefully today's episode of Live at 11:45 will give you some ideas. So here are a couple of things to think about. Especially in the current climate, there's lots of different ways you can share. Some of you will be more averse to face-to-face networking and may have had to reduce that in some way. Some of you are getting to grips with networking online, and some of you have been doing it for quite a while, so you feel quite comfortable with it. And then some of you are navigating the new kind of ways that you can get yourself out there on social media, especially when the world and his wife and those of you with businesses who want to put yourselves out there will have been doing this as well. So today I'm going to talk about some different ways in which you can be more visible. And the reason why I'm going to help you with what to share is because initially the biggest barrier that many people have is sharing something in the first place. You know, they worry about what to share, they struggle with, you know, how big a topic, how small a topic. And the other thing that people tend to wish that they could do more of is have more engagement. And actually, when it comes to being visible and having your services sell, that engagement piece isn't always as important as we make it. You know, we hear about viral videos, or we hear about, you know, posts that are trending, and we'll be forgiven for believing that having a post that trends or going viral on a video causes us to be popular. So here's how you can get the best out of this live with 11:45, which is short, sharp, juicy nuggets for you. Is to think of something that you're maybe working on right now, or that you've got an offering that you would like to put out in the world. It would be remiss of me, by the way, to not say this. On the 6th, 7th and 8th of November next month, I'm actually going to be hosting a live online event. It'll be the second one that I've hosted this year, and it's the Presentations That Sells Live Bootcamp. It's 3 days of us being able to roll our sleeves up, get into the offerings and the services and the products that you want to sell out there in the world while being visible, and doing it in a way that's not really that pushy or forceful. Because that's the thing. There are ways to set up how you're visible so that your products and services sell more easily. And usually I get to do this with people on a one-to-one basis. We work closely together, a mixture of coaching and mentoring, where I can help them with those building blocks, identify the sorts of things that they can share. On this day, on this event, you're going to actually have 3 days of doing it. And there are still a handful of special tickets at £49, which include VAT, so you don't have any kind of nasty surprises. There's still a handful of those tickets left, after which time those standard tickets will actually be £99 and will go up as we get closer to the event. And if you want a VIP seat, that's currently £99 and it will go up to £195. So these 3 days are worth much more than that. And I've specifically put them together for those of you that are looking to sell your services, especially when they're £1,000 mark or more. There are much different ways for you to do it, whether you've been a great salesperson all your life, or whether it's something that you're having to navigate now. So I'd be remiss not to tell you about that. But back to today, what shall I share? Now there's different pieces that I'm taking from the visibility and vibe system, which is a 5-step system to not only raise your professional profile, but to accelerate your visibility, and has had me speaking in some pinch me moment places, had me as an expert on the BBC, have had me speaking to large and small audiences of so many different people. But ultimately, these 5 steps have your voice be seen and heard, so people know that you're the person that's great at the stuff that you do. So if you or someone you know could use hearing these tips, then do share this video with them. Just share it with them as a private message and let them know why. Okay, so a couple of things to think about. When you're looking to increase your visibility and raise your profile, one of the things that you really want to do is look at the credibility piece. And by that, I don't mean the, look at me, I've got 1001 degrees and I'm really great and I'm amazing and I'm awesome. I mean the credibility that has people understand and get why you're so passionate about the subject, why you're the person speaking about it, why it might be relevant for them right now, or why it might be relevant for them to think about in terms of building their life. And, you know, again, the biggest misconception is that this is only great if you've got a business and you're helping another business, and that's simply not true. You know, many of my clients are doing some great stuff in the world. They're helping people with anxiety. They're helping people understand their values and how it plays out in their daily life. They're helping people with their careers. They're helping people to come back to themselves and really understand who they are through very natural and complementary methods. You know, they're helping with all sorts of different things, trauma, abuse. So it's important to understand and articulate the value that you provide. So when you are looking at being more visible, your presentation that sells actually starts early from these pieces. People think the sell or the sale starts with the, here's what I've got to offer, buy my stuff, when in fact it's actually started long before. So when you are positioning yourself for credibility, answer this question to the person who could be watching, reading, listening, enjoying, absorbing, learning, being inspired or motivated. Like, what's in it for them? Why should they listen? Why might they want it? Why might they need it? How will it benefit them? What's in it for them? So this is a really important piece. We often think positioning ourselves for credibility means that we start off with a long CV. So that's the first thing. Okay. Katie is saying, hi, hello Katie. If your event in November is as good as the one that I attended earlier in the year, it will be an incredible, and it's got that thing, what else does it say? An incredible value, a valuable 3 days, an incredible value. Oh, thank you. And you know what? If you were one of the people that did come along to the event that I had in August, you'll be pleased to know that I'm actually going to be covering and going deeper in some other stuff. So if you've been to one of my events before and you're like, oh, I've been to your events before and I've learned about visibility, this is really about visibility that sells your products and services and does it in a genuine and authentic way. So thank you for saying that. Thank you, Katie. So that first piece is really position your credibility. So when you're looking at what you share, position the credibility and wear the hat of how can what I share help this person? And this is a nod to Katie. We've had a conversation recently. Look at that, Katie. My stress balls, my natural stress balls. Look how beautiful they are. Everyone's wondering, what has Jenny and Katie been talking about? And there's a third one. So I'm sure I'll let Katie share at some point. So that's the first thing. Other things that you can share. Quite often behind the thing that you do, especially as a service that you provide, there's often a lot of myths around them. And here's where I really want you to interact. Wherever you're watching this video, whether you're watching this now on my Facebook page, The Queen of Being Seen, Jenny Kovacs, or whether you're watching it a day later over on my YouTube channel, what is one of the main myths that you hear about the thing you do that has you go, oh gosh, not this again? Where do people get this rubbish from? That's just not true. You know, one of the many myths I hear about being visible is that you've got to be extroverted, you've got to be loud, you know, the second one. The third one is you've got to wear bright colours and be like a big personality. And that's simply not true. You know, many of my clients are actually introverted. Many of them are talking about something that they can't see. that you can't see. So they're really talking about a service that they can't hold up and say, have a look at this, look how great it is, you know, it's beautiful, you know, try it out for size, and if you like it, buy it, and if not, fine. So what are some of the myths that people will tell you about the thing or things that you do? So wonderful natural stress balls, those conkers, they really are. I'm looking forward to hearing, Katie will definitely be sharing more about other things as well as these that do us good. So next time you're thinking about what will I share, think about what's in it for the person, think about it in a way that still positions your credibility. And by that, let me explain explicitly what I mean. If I was to do this whole Facebook Live and talk about pens and the different colour pens and all the different colour paper and stuff that I use, yes, I love stationery. Those of you who know me will know I love stationery. But if I was to speak just about that, you'd be forgiven for wondering what I do as a visibility specialist. Is it about, you know, stationery and coloured pens? And you wouldn't know that it's about, you know, putting yourself out there, raising your profile either face-to-face, in conversations, in presentations, in videos, and specifically when speaking or sharing about your services. You'd think it's about having lots of post-it notes out and being loud like that. So really, really, really important to be explicit and yes, share some of the things you love in life, but predominantly at least 80% of what you share should really be on your chosen subject matter or matters. And the reason I say that, probably one for another time at live at 11:45, maybe tomorrow or the day later, is when the people that I work with, they're not just good at one thing, they don't just do one thing, they tend to do a number of things that has like an umbrella. So on day one of presentation at sales, we're actually going to get your umbrella and pull that all together so that when you start the 3 days, you've got something that you can work towards actually selling throughout those 3 days as well. And if you've already come in with products and services to sell, we can turn the heat up on that. So having you seen and heard, you know, I just want to end with saying like why this is so important to me is that I get a ton of messages from different people who have really great products and services, and they struggle with how to put them out there in the world. They struggle with how to get them in front of the very people that they know need them and want them and could really benefit from them. So it feels sometimes more important to me than it does to anyone else. But when I can share something that will help you do that, then by all means, my job is done. You know, my purpose is lived. And it makes me really happy to know that you can put your golden nuggets out there in the world. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are one of the people that's just looked through and caught this halfway, do look back and you'll see, go back to last week and you'll see all of the catch-ups if you would like to catch up. They're normally about 15 minutes or less. Or if you prefer YouTube, then go over to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch them back with a 24-hour delay. So thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to hear about some of the biggest myths that you come across within your industry. Type them below, let us all know, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow at 11:45, live of course. Take care, bye for now.